Good morning, everybody. We have the shooter is in custody, and we are just seconds away from hearing from law enforcement. Press conference is starting any minute. Sorry, I'm a little discombobulated. Good morning, Queen. Good morning, Miss Megs. I have to excuse us. I just woke up. It's good news. Hey, just keep it real. Wow. Good morning, Jonathan. Yep, they got him. His name is Tyler Robinson. I know, me too, Jonathan. I got a cup of coffee and brushed my teeth, pulled my hair back. Good morning, Beck. Good morning, everyone. This is really good news. All I know so far, he's 22, 21 or 22. Yep, that's what I'm hearing. That's what they say. Beck, is any of that Utah area, are you familiar with any of that area?
Yes, well, so this press conference was scheduled to start.
That I don't know.
And now seeing officials walking into the room, they will be moving to the podium in a second now. Trying to see if I can see Kevin.
Good morning, Beezer.
So far, they are moving towards the podium.
I don't know if he's trans. I don't know much at all. Hey, Panda. Okay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At today's press conference, we will hear from Governor Cox, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Sheriff Mike Smith. We also have with us Utah DPS Commissioner Bo Mason, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, FBI Special Agent in Charge Robert Bowles, and local and federal law enforcement partners. Following the remarks today, Governor Cox, Director Patel, and Commissioner Mason will take questions. Thank you.
It's early here in Arizona, guys.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes.
Right.
When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I'll share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this, question mark." Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who's worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're grateful for everyone who worked together in such a short amount of time to find this person and to bring justice. I want to thank the public who has been so engaged, reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into to law enforcement as well. I especially want to thank the family of Charlie Kirk, Erica, Charlie's parents, his children. I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case. They will be involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them as we move through this process as well. This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah, but I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history. With that, I'll now turn the microphone over to the Director of the FBI, Kash Patel.
Thank you, Governor. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump the Vice President, and the entire White House, who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play. We will play that role, and we will lead out for the federal government. Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilized these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos of the suspect at 10 a.m. local time on 9/11. Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45 a.m. local. Myself and Deputy Director Bongino arrived on the scene at approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night at approximately 8 p.m., where at my direction, the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent. We're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there. It is a large crime scene. State and local authorities, along with federal authorities, processed that crime scene quickly. And I even had the ability to walk through that crime scene and walk through the steps the suspect took to learn more about what was needed and what resources we needed to bear to create a full picture for the FBI and leadership back in Washington. Furthermore, thankfully to state and local partners, forensic evidence has been seized and continues to be garnered. Forensic evidence has already been evaluated at FBI laboratories in Quantico and state and local authorities here. We will continue to process evidence as we see it, as we collect it, and we continue to deliver to Governor Cox and his team. Last night, we had a total of approximately 7,000 leads. As of this morning, thanks to your great work, we have over 11,000 leads that were called in to the FBI. And we are running out every single lead that we can. Every one of those leads will be run out. The arrest is a testament to the dedication of good law enforcement being great and partnerships in law enforcement, which I've tried to highlight as my tenure as the director of the FBI. There is no better relationship for law enforcement than the FBI to partner with state and local authorities, and you've seen it here in these last few days. The FBI Salt Lake Field Office, along with our offices in LA, Phoenix, Denver, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, our headquarters component in Quantico, all participate in the FBI. I want to express my deep gratitude to the employees of the FBI, the men and women, the evidence response team tacticians, the special operators, the agents, the support staff. You have done monumental work in historic time when the public, who had a right to demand such an expeditious solving of an investigation, the FBI answered that call diligently, critically important to our nation, and we delivered. And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI. This is very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions. And we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have, as long as it takes, for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Thank you, and good morning. I would just like to take a few minutes as the sheriff to express my gratitude for everybody who has played a part in this investigation. As you know, it's been a vast, a complicated, and a very, very fast-paced investigation. You're looking at people standing up here who are running on, if they got an hour's sleep in the last couple of days, they're probably lucky. It has been very taxing. It has been so impressive speaking on behalf of the local law enforcement to see the cooperation that we've seen in this type of case. Across the state, sheriffs, chiefs, our state partners have stepped up and have come to the call on anything that we needed. Our county chiefs have been phenomenal. Our Utah County Attorney, Jeff Gray, who's standing up here with us, has been phenomenal in leading us through this investigation. I would like to thank the federal government for their resources, their assets. Our local team here, our FBI team, has been extraordinary in helping us work through this and bring this person to justice. Most of all, I would like to thank the public, and specifically, I would like to thank the public who turned to prayers and who turned to positiveness for us. I would like to thank them on behalf of the law enforcement community because we needed those prayers. That's what we needed to get through this. We needed your support, and you gave it to us. We needed your patience, and you gave it to us. And I would like to thank you for the Kirk family because that's what they need, is your support and your prayers, and that will get us through all of this. So thank you, everybody, for everybody that has stepped up. We've had such a phenomenal response to this. Thank you.
I also want to give a special thanks to the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. Their unwavering support and their commitment to justice is shown true here. And without AG Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and the resources they brought to bear, we would not have been able to complete our mission. And I just want to say special thanks. It's an honor to be a part of the Department of Justice.
Thank you again to our incredible law enforcement team who has worked so hard. Sheriff, I got a solid 90 minutes last night, so I'm probably the most well-rested person up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I hit the microphone, so I hope you'll permit me a moment just to share a few more thoughts about where we are and how we got here and maybe a little bit of where we go from here. I don't want to get too preachy, but I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country, and violence is tragic everywhere. And every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Even, especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much. Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And it was, as anger pushed me to the brink, it was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those. And specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country. As President Trump reminded me, he said, you know who really loved Charlie? The youths. He's right. Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. And these are the words that have helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking, that's when you get violence. He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. Welcome without judgment, love without condition, forgive without limit. He said, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. A few months ago, I referenced this last night, Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay. He again said, when you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to commit violence. He said, what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable agreement, where violence is not an option. Now, again, to my young friends out there, you are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path. Your generation has an opportunity to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now. Not by pretending differences don't matter, but by embracing our differences and having those hard conversations. I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence. And there is one person responsible for what happened here. And that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable. And yet, all of us have an opportunity right now to do something different. I want to thank my fellow Utahns. This bad stuff happens. For 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I hoped for. Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here. And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year. But it did happen here. and it was one of us. But I want you to look at how Utahns reacted the last 2 nights. There was no rioting, there was no looting, there were no cars set on fire, there was no violence. There were vigils and prayers and people coming together to share the humanity.
Exactly what I said last night.
That, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the answer to this. We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes. Because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse. But see, these are choices that we can make. History will dictate if this is a turning point for our country. But every single one of us gets to choose right now if this is a turning point for us. We get to make decisions. We have our agency. And I desperately call on every American, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, conservative, MAGA, all of us to please, please, please follow what Charlie taught me. I'll just conclude with words I share often from a friend and author, Yuval Levin, who was asked if he was optimistic about our country. And he said, I'm not optimistic. He said, I hate optimism. God, that sounds bad. But he said, optimism is a vice. It's this idea that good things are just going to happen. He said, in the history of the world, good things have never just happened. He says, I'm not optimistic, but I am hopeful. And hope is the virtue that sits between the vices of optimism and pessimism. Hope is the idea that good things are going to happen because we can make them so. I still believe in our country. And I know Charlie Kirk believed in our country. I still believe that there is more good among us than evil. And I still believe that we can change the course of history. I'm hopeful because Americans can make it so. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to answer any questions you have.
Governor, can you please speak to whether the suspect is speaking with authorities and his demeanor, Tyler Robinson, when he turned himself in?
I cannot speak to that.
Governor, how do you interpret his motivation? Governor, how do you interpret the engravings on the case of
Well, I will leave that up to you to interpret what those engravings mean. I think the clearest one that says "catch fascist," there's not, and by the way, that's like catch like a ball, catch this. That's I think that speaks for itself.
Governor, you talked about this level of hatred that this person expressed at a dinner. Beyond that, is there anything in your view that you've discovered that may have radicalized or changed him to prompt him to commit such a horrific act?
There's nothing more that we can share at this time.
Governor, you indicated that he had been communicating with a friend on Discord about the gun. Do you anticipate any more arrests?
We do not at this time have any information that would lead to any additional arrests.
Do you believe he acted alone?
Yes, but the investigation is ongoing.
Can you talk more about the family, what they had to say about the suspect?
How he came into custody of police and where he is right now with drugs?
Yes, so right now, Mr. Robinson has been booked into the Utah County Jail. You heard the president this morning report that he was taken into custody, that his family and a friend helped to deliver him into custody of law enforcement in Washington County. Those of you that don't know where Washington County is, it is the southwesternmost part of the state of Utah. It's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive from here, where we are right now, and that's where he lived and where they turned him.
Can you talk more about the family is saying about Tyler Robinson?
I can't share any more than what I've already shared.
Is he talking
Governor,
with
do you have
authorities?
details on how he got back to Washington County and how the gun was obtained?
How we obtained the gun? The gun was found.
How the
was found.
shooter obtained the gun and how the shooter then was able to get back to Washington.
So I don't have much more details on that. We do know that he drove. We had his car here on campus, and then we had his car going south back to the St. George. It's actually the city of Washington in Washington County.
Is he talking with authorities and did he discuss a motive?
I'm sorry.
Did the suspect plan to carry out any other attacks?
We don't have any information that
Are you going to
released.
be releasing the mugshot?
Yes, in fact, it was just released.
Is he
Yes.
talking with authorities and did he discuss a motive?
I can't answer that right now.
Can you clarify, you've spoken
Okay.
very eloquently about trying to reunite this country. Do you feel that this is a watershed in American history?
I absolutely believe that this is a watershed in American history, yes. The question is what kind of watershed? And that chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history? Look, I mean, if you look at true political assassinations in this country of someone of this stature, this feels a lot like the late 60s. And having one so gruesomely displayed on camera in all of our hands and in all of our pockets, we are not wired as human beings biologically, historically. We have not evolved in a way that we are capable of processing those types of violent imagery. And by the way, we've seen another one with a gruesome stabbing very recently that went viral. This is not good for us. It is not good to consume. Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. That is happening, and it's happening organically right now. I had a friend in a small city in Utah who said, we're getting together, the Republicans and Democrats in my little town are getting together to have a discussion tonight, last night, just to find a way to find their better angels. So yes, this could be, I mean, again, you have to go back to JFK to have seen a video live of something like this happening. I wasn't born until 1975, but I know that things were really dark in the late 60s. Sorry to some of you. I know some of you were there. This is our moment. Do we escalate or do we find an off-ramp? And again, it's a choice. It's a choice, and every one of us gets to make that choice. Two more questions right here.
Could we clarify that the release of those enhanced images at 8 p.m., the timeline that Director Patel gave us, led to the arrest at 10 p.m.? Is there a direct connection between those two events?
I cannot comment if there is a direct connection or not, but all I can say is that that through some process, the family came to know that this had happened.
One more thing, Governor. Could you just clarify the clothing issue you mentioned earlier? Was he changing outfits?
Correct.
Could you just clarify this?
Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU. Last question here.
You said that the suspect was from Utah. Can you kind of tell us a little bit more about where, and was he a student here at this university, and is there any history of mental illness?
Yeah. So I don't have any information on the mental illness part. He was not a student here at UVU. He was living and had lived for a long time with his family in Washington County. Thank you, everyone, for your great work in getting this information out. I would just say, process-wise, this may be important. I know many of you aren't familiar with the process in Utah. I think it's important that you understand that. Basically, we have 3 days for charging documents to be filed a CI will be filed. We'll have more information then, more detailed information as those charging documents are filed in preparation for a preliminary hearing. So 3 days. So, we would anticipate then that early next week, those charging documents will be filed. We will obviously be working, the county attorney will be working very closely with Mr. Kirk's family as those documents and decisions are prepared and made. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. I've got some photos.
Say whether Tyler Robinson said anything to authorities about it.
Turn it on. Good morning, Frazzled. Good morning, Kentucky woman. Anybody I've missed? Now, this says what we know so far about the alleged shooter, Tyler Robinson. He's 22-year-old white Mormon. His father is a retired, I don't think his father was a sheriff, so I'm not, this person I don't think knows. I think he was in law enforcement. His father was in law enforcement, from my understanding. I don't know that he was a sheriff, so I'm not going to say that. I don't know. Yes, I'm very glad to. Thank you also, Faith. I'm very glad. These are just some pictures that are up on that, I guess, is his dad. Him and his dad. Let's see. Right? There was some other stuff. There's a lot of stuff, honestly. I know that's the thing. You know, exactly what it weighs. He's 22 years old. Yes, I am too. I'm very glad. Here is a better look from last night. Right. I agree with that. This is a better look from last night. Good morning, Two Skulls. I know.
Earlier this hour, we had an update from the FBI in Utah.
Okay, well, that I haven't heard anything about a funeral. I know. I assume there's going to be a private one and a public one, both. Mr. Snotty and I definitely will be going to the public one. As well as we'll go down to Turning Point and see what's going on. Yes, Jonathan. It is. It's very sad. It's so senseless. It's so senseless. I mean, who did you help? Who did you help? Not yourself. I mean, this kid, it's Utah, plus this is a federal case. I think it's going to be you ruined your own life. Look what you've done to your family. For what? You know? Okay, let me see what else I can find. Wow, that's really sweet, Jonathan. Yep. Right. I was going to say, I don't see how they wouldn't, because Utah definitely has death penalty, and obviously, I think these charges are going to be federal. I think they are. I could be wrong though, obviously. But yeah, I feel like they won't. I don't know. You never know, right? X has a lot of stuff. I just don't want to put anything up if I don't know. Right, right. That's what I'm saying. What you do to your own family. I mean, I don't know. Oh, look what I saw, guys. Let me see. Look at this. According to this thing, Patrick Mahomes has said he's going to provide education to Charlie's kids. Look at that. Wow, right? It says, rest in peace, my friend. Let me take care of your children. America always opens its arms to patriots. Wow, really? Yeah, I believe, I'm pretty sure the other day what we heard was the fact that it was at a university, and I can't remember all the different aspects, but they already, I believe they already said it would be federal charges. Where's Queen? Oh, I didn't see this. Okay, Queen. Thank you. Right? I mean, I don't either, Faith. I don't. I have no. I don't know what to say to that. You know, so that crazy idiot. Yeah, I won't even talk about him. I can't. Good morning, Fosh. Here's another picture of him. Gosh, I'm hot and I'm cold. Oh, what is this?
Selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University.
Okay.
Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
Okay.
Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
Presidential scholarship. Oh wow! How did somebody just wrote? Tyler Robinson, 22 years old. Imagine ruining the rest of your life because words hurt your feelings. Right.
I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him
Right
in
now.
custody. Right, in custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. I think
You haven't seen him?
with a high degree of
Okay,
certainty,
hold on.
we have him
Right
in
now.
custody. Right, in custody.
This is him here. He's young. He's 22.
Everyone did.
His father was prior law enforcement. Really? I guess I didn't know what I expected, really. I mean, we right away, we had the pictures pretty quickly. Okay, Andrew Tate is a maniac. So I'm not going to worry about that. Yeah, look at Thomas Crooks and this guy. They kind of do, right? I know, right? Wow. Good morning, Try Me. Oh no, on the TV, because I literally woke up, brushed my teeth, and jumped on. Wow. Uh-oh. No, Faith, not Faith, I'm sorry. Kentucky woman. This picture right here is Thomas Crooks. That's the guy that shot Trump. I woke up to about 20 text messages. I was like, what the hell is going on? Something's happening. Yeah, and then this is Tyler Robinson, the one that shot Charlie Kirk. So yeah, Flash, his father turned him in or talked him into turning himself in or whatever, something to that effect. You haven't slept? Oh my goodness. Well, somebody said it was about 10 o'clock last night, apparently. And it must have been, I mean, they had the press conference last night and they had to have been close or something because, I mean, then this happened first thing this morning. I think Queen said she heard somewhere it was around, it happened around 10 o'clock last night. Because you got to figure it's early over here. Let's see. Oh, No, nothing that, well, he had written stuff on the, he engraved stuff on the weapon or the magazines and shell casings or something. I don't know exactly. Let me see if I can find exactly what. Oh, let's see here. Hold on, let's see. I know, but I know. It's so sad. I have just, last night when I went to bed, my eyes were just swollen from crying for 2 days.
Massive earth-shattering breaking news. Charlie Kirk's killer has been caught.
I think she was, because we definitely saw she was there when they took, so Vance went there in Air Force 2 to pick up the remains and bring them back to Phoenix. And she was there. And I have heard several people say it, that she was actually at the event.
And Trump announcing it seconds ago on Fox and Friends, to the shock of the entire internet. Here's what we know. This is President Trump's announcement.
Yesterday, you were at the 9/11 memorial. We were all watching that.
Yeah.
JD Vance was supposed to be with you. He went out to be with Charlie Kirk's family and to get the body back to his hometown in Arizona. And you said you were going to award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which was very nice of you. Any updates on this suspect?
Yeah. Can I always say, I think, just to protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued and we all don't get sued and everything else. But I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant that was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But yeah, I think we're in great shape.
Mr.
And he's in custody.
President Trump then announcing the way that they caught the killer, because he had been eluding authorities for over 24 hours. The killer was on camera. The killer was on videotape and surveillance tape, but crawled off the roof onto the ground and had not been caught yet. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is how the killer was caught. President Trump saying the minister of the killer and his father turned him in.
Suspicion was that he was radical left. And now you have more information. What can you share with us about his ideology?
Yeah, Lawrence, let me just, and by the way, Lawrence is doing a good job. What's going on?
Job. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you,
I said you were going to do well. But yeah, I think that I don't want to go too far. I'd like to tell you some stories that how it happened.
On a building.
Essentially, somebody that was very close to him turned him in. And that happens when you had some of those good shots. Somebody is going to say, whether it's a parent or whatever, I'd rather not say right now. They're going to announce it today, sometime later, probably talk about that. But
No,
somebody close to him turned him, you know, they said, whoa, it's interesting. Where we had very good pictures, but not great, not perfect. And when you look at it, what happened is somebody, and this happens a lot. It happened with the crazy Boston bomber. It happened with others. somebody that's close recognizes even a little tilt of the head, which nobody else would do. And somebody that was very close.
Yeah, Flash, there's video of him actually up on a roof and climbing down from the roof. Can you imagine the shot he took? I mean, Charlie was under that canopy and it was one shot. That was wild.
To him said, that's him. And essentially went.
No, that's exactly what I said too, Flash. Oh, get some sleep, Faith. Thank you so much. Thank you. Love you. Have some sweet dreams.
To the father, went to a U.S. Marshal, who was fantastic, by the way. And the person was involved with law enforcement, but was a person of faith, a minister. And brought him to
right, exactly.
a U.S. Marshal, who was fantastic.
Yep.
And the father convinced the son, this is it. And again, I'm always subject to be corrected, but you know, I'm just giving you, based on what I'm hearing, they'll give you a much more active. I just heard about it 5 minutes before I walked in. As I'm walking in, they said, looking real good. They have the person that they wanted. So you have breaking news, don't you? Huh?
Thank you.
Always have breaking news, Ainsley. Sean's going to be very disappointed that we're not doing it on his show.
He'll be very thankful and appreciative of the police officers that got this guy.
They did a great job. Everybody worked together. Pam Bondi is incredible, by the way. People don't know what a star she is. She's incredible.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say I don't know what a star she is. I certainly do not. No, I think that he, though, from my understanding, and I don't know everything yet, this is all new, but what I've heard, you know, he comes from they said the area he comes from, they're hunters, and I think that he probably, you know, was a fairly gifted, well, obviously a marksman. Exactly right. It was like a professional. That's what we were saying that the other night, like a sharpshooter. I know. I wish so. I told everybody yesterday, we got our tickets for America Fest in December. It's a Turning Point event. We had planned on going all along, but we got our tickets yesterday for sure. I'm excited to go.
And it all worked out.
Can I ask you just some clarification? So a pastor was able to turn him in, or they got the family of the shooter to turn them in?
Well, it was a minister, and the minister went to a minister who was involved with law enforcement, by the way. And his good friend is a top U.S. Marshal. And they took it from there. And then it was a father got involved, namely his father, and said, we got to go in. And they, so I understand it. And again, subject to change, but you know, the facts are the facts. We have the person that we think is the person we're looking for. But they drove into the police headquarters, and he's there now.
President Trump has announced that he will be pursuing the death penalty for Charlie Kirk's killer on Fox News. President Trump talked about what he wanted to see next and what he wanted to see happen. Ladies and gentlemen, this also matches the governor of Utah saying the same thing, Spencer Cox. He will obviously have a big say here since the...
No. This is not live now. He is live right now. This was just about an hour ago, I think. I saw where he was talking to Eric Trump. I'm going to play that in just a second.
Crime was committed in Utah. So you can pile up charges. You can pile up charges to lead to a death penalty, not only on state level, but on federal levels. Here's both of those men saying, we will be pursuing the death penalty.
Did the father know about what the son had done?
I don't know. I'm going to let you get all those questions later because I can't tell you how accurate. The bottom line is they have somebody that they think did it.
So, Mr. President, there is the death penalty in Utah.
Yes.
And I do know this is going to be a federal case. And there's many of us believe that Charlie was targeted because of his political ideology.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to this guy?
Well, I hope he's going to be found guilty, I would imagine. And I hope he gets the death penalty. What he did, Charlie Kirk was the finest person. He didn't deserve this. He worked so hard and so well. Everybody liked him. I've been watching, even the left is having a hard time. They fired this guy Dowd from MSDNC, who's a terrible guy, terrible human being, but they fired him. I hear they're firing other people. And, you know, we're talking about radical left. Now, they're a little bit, but radical left networks and cable channels, horrible channels like MS. I always go at DNC because it's, you know, somehow affiliated with the Democrat National Committee. So, you know, it's a little statement you make, but MSNBC, but NBC, ABC, CBS, they're all terrible, absolutely terrible and unfair. But even they have been giving it sort of like this can't be allowed to happen.
We desperately need some healing. We'll have more to say about that in the days and weeks to come. More than anything, we are going to catch this person. Last thing I will just say is we've been working with our attorneys, getting everything that we need, affidavits ready, so that we can pursue the death penalty in this case, and that will happen here in the state of Utah. Again, to the public, to those who are grieving, thank you for your prayers. I know we are feeling those prayers. I know the Kirk family is feeling those prayers as well. We pray that God will bless our nation at this very dark time. We can start healing by finding this perpetrator and holding him accountable, and we need your help to do that. Thank you.
That is the press conference we have been.
So that was last night. Let's see. Yeah, I know, Try Me. That's exactly right. He was a smart kid. We just saw where he received the presidential scholarship. But they're radicalized by these crazy. I don't care. I said it last night. I'm not going to stop saying it. These crazy lunatic liberals. They're radicalized by this stuff. They acted like everybody was just going to be rounded up when Trump became president. I mean, that's so ridiculous. This is what happens, though. They cannot accept that somebody disagrees with them. They can't accept it. To the point that you do this shit. Enough's enough. And people acting like that they don't go out there and do it. They absolutely do. They tell them, go to their homes. They give people's addresses. Go light the damn city on fire. Go loot everything. Go run a fucking muck. They absolutely do it. I'm tired of people acting like, oh, it's on both sides. No, it's actually not. It's just not. Fucking tired of that. Oh my God. Oh my God, happened. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, here. Here's some information. Hold on. Here. Sorry, hold on. My phone's ringing. Okay, here's some more stuff. 1 second. Yeah. Changing my statement. Yeah, I gotcha.
College days, wearing a baseball cap, dark sunglasses, and a black shirt with an eagle and American flag.
The public has answered our call for action. So far, we've received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received this many digital media tips from the public since the Boston Marathon bombing.
And then there's this chilling video obtained by TMZ, which appears to show that person of interest walking by several neighborhood surveillance cameras. The FBI had previously said its teams had spoken to people who live nearby as the agency tries to zero in on the gunman. President Donald Trump saying yesterday he's confident the country will be given answers soon on who killed the 31-year-old.
Well, I hear they're making big progress, and we'll have to see what happens.
Do you have any indication of the shooter's motivation, sir?
I have an indication, yeah, but we'll let you know about that later.
At the latest press conference held yesterday evening, officials took no questions, but FBI Director Kash Patel was there, and we were told he has surveyed the crime scene.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
we are live and
We saw
ready
that too,
as,
yeah.
praise God, this morning, Charlie Kirk's killer has been captured. I can report to you, Charlie Kirk's killer is in federal custody after a 20-hour manhunt. I'm just doing the rough math. Charlie's killing on Wednesday. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. It is the 12th of September, 2025. And Charlie Kirk's killer has been announced first and live by President Trump in custody. And Donald Trump gave some major details. And we are going to be having a press conference live in moments from
They
Utah
say
with the full force of the FBI. The full
they're
force of the FBI
saying
was
that
live last night, late into the small hours of the evening. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino in Utah, personally in Utah.
Some people think he
joining
was
the manhunt.
limping because he had
They
a
got
gun.
him, ladies and gentlemen. Surprising source
I don't
revealed
know.
who the shooter was. Let's go ahead and read the top line here, and then we'll go straight to President Trump. Klein, let me know. Rocking and rolling. Okay, fantastic. Top line here. President Trump was live just seconds ago. We have the clips for you. Donald Trump revealed that the person who allegedly assassinated Charlie Kirk during an event in Utah is now in custody. I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody. The president told Fox and Friends this morning. Sources told the Daily Mail that the suspect is Tyler Robinson, a 21-year-old man from Washington, Utah. Tyler Robinson.
The video of him limping was this is all stuff from like Ring cameras and stuff, I believe. And I think when he was limping was when he was going there. Try me. That's what I believe. Was him getting there with the gun. I don't know. I think he probably had some of it in his backpack, taken apart as much as, taken off some pieces of it or something. But they think that's what I've heard. I don't know anything for sure. Yeah. He did jump off the building. We saw video of that too. I want to try to get to what this is about. Well, right here.
Very discernible limp.
See?
This is probably the most demonstrable video that we have of the assassin. This is the clearest and cleanest video we have of the assassin. You can see that very heavy limp. Is that because there's a long rifle potentially being contained within the clothing of the assassin? This is the assassin escaping after the shooting. Escaping after the shooting through the fields and into the woods. You'll see here the moment that we believe that the firearm, if the official story is to be believed, is discarded into the woods. The firearm is taken right here, and you'll be able to see the assassin after murdering Charlie Kirk in a political assassination head to the tree line.
Yeah, so he's in shorts there.
And so it was maddening because this is all that we had. We had very grainy, very difficult footage. It was very hard to see it. President Trump saying actually what got him was his father and his minister. Listen to this.
Suspicion was that he was radical left. And now you have more information. What can you share with us about his ideology?
Yeah, Lawrence, let me just, and by the way, Lawrence is doing a good job. What's going on?
Job. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm very proud of you.
He's hearing that over and over.
Yeah, I think that I don't want to.
Some conflicting reports, not that it is Tyler Robinson or caught, but other conflicting reports here of his age. Tyler Robinson, 22-year-old, identified as Charlie Kirk's suspected assassin. President Trump saying that I'm breaking this news right now. I heard about it just 5 minutes ago, and we were live 5 minutes after that, ladies and gentlemen, to bring you.
You can take him completely apart and clean him.
This tough news.
That's Mr. Snotty's job, so I don't know all about that, but you can take him.
If you see the casket,
but you could take some pieces off and put them back on fairly easy, for sure.
Hit me yesterday when I was watching J.D. Vance carry his casket. J.D. Vance walking with Charlie Kirk's casket yesterday out to Air Force Two. Is that even real? How's the words Charlie Kirk's casket even real? Here he goes. Alighted.
I don't think he was walking with anybody. I think those were just other people milling about kind of thing.
Onto the wings of heaven. The man that I knew, the most constant mover, somebody who literally never rest and never slept.
No worries, Fosh.
Being delivered to eternal rest, carried by our U.S. military Air Force, and also by J.D. Vance there personally.
Yeah, see, his wife was there.
Charlie Kirk's wife watches on. Boarding Air Force Two, and that plane arrived in Phoenix. Air Force Two carried Charlie Kirk's casket to Phoenix, where there was a massive amount of people waiting for him at the airport. And of course, we will show you all of that. Vigils around the planet, by the way, for Charlie Kirk. Vigils around the world. We will cover them. Let's continue to read here, and we will continue to play for you, President Trump, breaking news clips from President Trump, breaking news about how the capture of Tyler Robinson, either 22 or 21-year-old from Utah, the killer of Charlie Kirk, turned in by his father with the assistance of his minister. Minister. Is he Mormon? I don't want to make speculations. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I will very much look forward to the FBI press conference. Again, that is now scheduled for 9:30. 9:30 will be our press conference here in the better part of 12 minutes from now. Here's our live shot. Ladies and gentlemen, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino physically on the ground. Physically on the ground. They were at September 11th Memorials early in the morning at ground zero. And then both of them boarded a plane and landed in Utah for this
I know.
specific manhunt. President Trump's announcement came 2 days after the conservative luminary was gunned down during an event at a college campus in a horrific moment captured on video across the globe. Trump said that he wants to see the killer get the death penalty for the assassination of a man he described as the finest person, Charlie Kirk. Well, it's going to be found, well, I hope he's going to be found guilty, I would imagine, and I hope that he gets the death penalty. Trump said what he did, Charlie Kirk, he was the finest person, that he didn't deserve this. He worked so hard and so well, and everybody liked him. Utah Governor Spencer Cox has signaled that he plans to seek the death penalty as well. In Utah, we have the death penalty, and you have a very good governor there, President Trump says. The governor, I've gotten to know him. The governor is very intent on the death penalty in this case. The president has traveled to his longtime home of New York City in order to watch a New York Yankees game for September 11th, the remembrance of the game. He stayed overnight and went to the studio, Fox and Friends, in person. The apparent arrest comes after officials said just hours earlier they had no idea where the shooter was. This has been, of course, a very swift action by the feds. Thankfully, you can see here what I was talking about. Now,
See him up on the roof
video
there?
to this. Let me know, producers, if we have that loaded. There's corresponding video to this that shows the shooter dead to rights running across the rooftop in the seconds after Charlie Kirk's killing, jumping from this ledge, collapsing down onto the ground, and then limping again. So I have no idea if he has a limp, if he was concealing a gun. What is peculiar about this footage is that there is no firearm directly visible. What is strange about this footage, Klein, let me know when we have it loaded up, is that there is no firearm that you can see the individual carrying. Now, it's this very grainy security footage. So I don't
know.
not going to get ahead of the feds here. I'm not going to get ahead of the FBI.
Sure.
And I'm, of course, not going to get ahead of President Trump, who just broke this news seconds ago. Here is the footage, ladies and gentlemen, of the perpetrator of the killer wandering the rooftop. Here we go.
So here you see the suspect ran behind that upper building. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black T-shirt, his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes. Those are all identifiable items that we're looking for. In the stills that are going to follow this.
Well, I think they definitely could do that. Happy if they grew up hunters and they've been shooting their whole life. I think they definitely can do that. That's a hunting rifle that he shot him with, a 30-06. Right. No, I think that somebody else knew. Look at the people causing ruckus in the. I think there were people that were involved in the crowd. the first guy they arrested was in the crowd, and he started screaming that he was the one who shot him, that it was him. So I do now. Were they just agitated? I don't know. It seems awful funny, right? To me, I feel like they were distractions so he could do this, right? Yeah, I did see that, Jonathan. Yeah. There's been a lot of people celebrating it. Yeah, I think there was too. I think even the question, very coincidence. I don't really believe in that so much. The person asking the question, I believe. Very I think there were a few. I do.
You're going to see a very distinctive T-shirt with an American flag and appears to have an eagle on it. There's also a baseball cap with a triangle on it and a pair of sunglasses. All distinctive, all things that we would ask the public to look for and try to identify if they know someone who has those items, who has been seen wearing those items. We're looking for all that information. Here you see the suspect after dropping off the building. He moved around across this grassy area, around the parking lot. We're going to pan to the right.
Right, Jonathan. Yep. I heard that also.
After he crosses the street, this is where he moves over into the wooded area. This is the video evidence that we utilize to track his movements and to locate that firearm in that wooded area following the discovery of this evidence.
Again, I'm not trying to create wild speculation. I look forward to the FBI press conference, of which we will broadcast all of it in full for you the second that they go live. Right now, it is still an empty dais. Here it is right there. This is the live shot, and our best in the world production team is ready to let her rip as soon as we know anything from the FBI. We hear that it will be a briefing by Kash Patel, that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are both physically there, physically present for this briefing. The concern or curiosity that I have about these instances, given this video, which is the video of the perpetrator walking toward the killer, walking toward the Charlie Kirk event with a massive limp. How is he getting the firearm in? Was the firearm placed there in the sniper's nest ahead of time? How are you able to get a long gun, non-collapsible 30-06 long gun into this location?
Okay. He said it's non-collapsible. I didn't. Wow. That seems. Huh. That surprises me.
We know Charlie Kirk's security team. Charlie Kirk's security team is some of the most equipped, sharpest, and best men that we've ever met. Many of them are veterans. Many of them are GWAT veterans. Many of them have been in close combat and served in very dangerous combat situations. Charlie Kirk traveled nowhere without a phalanx of very trusted, well-armed, well-equipped, best-in-class security. So someone must have, thank you, Klein, right there. This shooter, Tyler Robinson, the killer, this was deeply premeditated. They were also flanked by 3 different sheriff's offices, we have now learned that day. There were police officers there, and according to eyewitnesses, there were paramilitary groups. I don't know who they belonged to, but there were boys kitted out to either SWAT or some manner of special forces, state or local or federal, I don't know. But they were there instantly up after this shooting. So what I'm trying to say here is there was a abundance of law enforcement and security there at this event. Now, here's the sniper's nest. According to the FBI, thank you, Klein. And what you can see here is the direct shot down to Charlie Kirk. You can see right there, if there's a way we can zoom, you can see the small yellow.
Yeah, that was a good shot. Look at that. From there. And he was under that canopy, like, and it was absolutely dead on. God, I know, I hate to say it like that because it's so horrible. Flash, I accidentally played the wrong video when this first happened. So I don't know if you've seen any of that, but it's bad. It's bad. Once you see that video, it was pretty clear that he was not going to make it. He couldn't.
Let us just load this very quickly. You'll be able to see the tent. Might be a little small here, but you can zoom quite efficiently down to the tent where Charlie Kirk is doing his question and answers. And then you can see the absolute direct line of sight from where the sniper would be set up 250 yards away. You can see on top of the building, which is covered in gravel, the impressions, not large impressions, that were left by 21 or 22-year-old Tyler Robinson when he laid down in a prone position. How did he get the gun there? This is what the FBI is saying. Yeah, are his markings up on the roof? And more importantly,
I think it was on campus.
Where exactly is the firearm in the video right here of Tyler Robinson? Where is the firearm right here? Again, I look forward to the FBI answering these questions. Is it slung across his back? I don't see it. Where is the firearm there? Just questions that I look forward to the FBI answering. But if the gun was deposited into the woods, well, where is it exactly? Is it some type of 30-06 that, I mean, the photo that they showed us of the firearm is a non-collapsible, full barrel and full stock 30-06. So that's a hole in the story that I'm looking forward to having answered. But this is what we have so far. This footage released for the first time at approximately 11 p.m. last night, approximately 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's some movement in our FBI.
I don't know,
show,
Flash.
but it's just photographers and press. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the question that is on the top of my mind, which is, how did this monster get a firearm into this event? Again, I want to throw down on something. Charlie Kirk has an unbelievable security team. They are trained professionals. They are men, many of them have seen war themselves. Charlie Kirk also often flanked by local and state authorities at these events, just given the nature of them. And so, as everyone could see, there was deep premeditation, planning, sophistication, and targeting that occurred here. And I want to learn how that happened. I want to learn some of the gaps in the story here. This wasn't just some dude that decided to come up. And here we go. Thank you very much. I mean, can you conceal that? Would you be able to conceal under in your shirt? Well, certainly not in the photos that I saw, but I look again forward to the FBI answering these questions. The murder weapon. And according to initial reports, ALX, have they walked this back? According to initial reports, the murder weapon engraved with political iconography and messaging of far-left radical groups. I'm basing that reporting on a leak from Steven Crowder yesterday. which seemed to be validated by a Wall Street Journal piece, but then there's been some conflicting reports. Potentially engraved, we'll wait. Hopefully the FBI will clear this up for us. Potentially engraved, I'll put the evidence up here on screen. Potentially engraved with Antifa. This would be anti-fascist here in the commentary from the ATF, and transgender ideology markings on the bullet shell casings. That's just the reporting that's out there. I do not want to give you incorrect information, but I also don't want to hold back on the conversations that people are having as long as they're in good faith. So there it is. Let's continue. President Trump demanding the death penalty. President Trump demanding the death penalty, along with the governor of Utah demanding the death penalty. Now, obviously, this is going to be a federal case, but state jurisdiction will also apply here, and a state trial can also apply here. You can also be charged on state level. You can be charged concurrently, state and federal and local charges. They can bring them all. The preponderance of bringing so many charges, you could be given the death penalty. You could be given the death penalty by multiple courts.
I haven't heard
venues,
that
a federal
part
venue
yet.
and a local venue, making it all but impossible to avoid it. For Tyler Robinson,
I don't know.
a man who was 10 years younger than Charlie. What the hell's going on? Charlie was 31. Tyler Robinson reportedly 21. President Trump saying Tyler Robinson will be receiving the death penalty. Here we go.
Did the father know about what the son had done?
I don't know. I'm going to let you get all those questions later because I can't tell you how accurate. The bottom line is they have somebody that they think did it.
So, Mr. President, there is the death penalty in Utah.
Yes.
And I do know this is going to be a federal case. And there's many of us believe that Charlie was targeted because of his political ideology.
I know.
What's going to happen to this guy?
Well, I hope he's going to be found guilty, I would imagine. And I hope he gets the death penalty. What he did, Charlie Kirk was the finest person. He didn't deserve this. He worked so hard and so well. Everybody liked him. I've been watching, even the left is having a hard time. They fired this guy Dowd from MSDNC, who's a terrible guy, terrible human being, but they fired him. I hear they're firing other people. And, we're talking about radical left. Now, they're a little bit, but radical left networks and cable channels, horrible channels like MS, I always call it DNC because it's somehow affiliated with the Democrat National Committee. So, it's a little statement you make, but MSNBC, but NBC, ABC, CBS, they're all terrible, absolutely terrible and unfair. But even they have been giving it sort of like this can't be allowed to happen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know that we have considerably more viewers right now than when we started. So a very quick update here. Breaking news, Tyler Robinson is the name of Charlie Kirk's killer. He is 22 years old. Everything that we know about him. President Trump calling for the death penalty. Let's read the Daily Mail very quick on these things. Look at this. It's just a photo. Robinson was a student at Utah Valley University. The Daily Mail can confirm. Here he is.
Okay, so he was a student at that at that college. That's where a lot of this this stuff happens. It's these lunatic professors. I'm telling you, they're crazy liberals. They're crazy. They amp these kids up with this shit. I don't care who doesn't want to hear it anymore. I'm tired of acting like this shit doesn't happen. It does. You get these kids all wound up. You mess with their hormones, giving them all this stupid shit. And then they go in there and they tell them all this crap. I don't think there's a single bit of academics going on in college. It's all this stuff. That they go into college and next thing you know, all these kids are out here saying queers for Hamas. Like that's a damn thing. That is 100% not a thing. Absolutely ridiculous. These people got to be responsible for this shit they spew out everywhere. Because you don't know who you're dealing with. You got these kids, you know, and I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not being rude. I'm not. But you know what? Like, these kids don't have friends. They sit there online talking to all these other people that agree with them. They get their shit amped up. Good morning, Floor. They do. They sit there and start thinking crazy shit. Because I got to tell you, I get super irritated by listening to Maxine Waters tell people to go out and cause havoc. I get sick of all this shit, but I never even think that I want to do something violent about it. Thank you, Flash. I mean, there's something wrong with you. And you know, it's not guns. I have plenty of guns. I don't want to use them. I have them to protect myself. And I hope I never have to use one. Just because you have a gun and you know about something doesn't mean you go and shoot people. We're screwing these kids up. They're damn well talking them into being a different gender. I mean, and you hear it. When you hear people say, my 14-month-old, they were born the wrong sex. What the fuck are you doing? That is lunacy. The parents are just as bad. I'm telling you. You get these crazy ass fucking people. And this kid's a loner. You know, his friends are these people online. Because they don't go out and do things. You know, if you had something else that you might be interested in, that you might go, if you had hobbies or something that you might not even have time to arrange this horse shit.
Is wearing similar clothing with a similar hat and eyeglasses. Here is eating sushi. The hell's going on here? What is this? And what about the guy that, like...
See, yeah, that guy right there. He's the one that was saying that he did it. See, the people in the crowd, they were causing, besides the ones celebrating it, immediately. Like, who does that? I don't care how much you dislike somebody. Who the hell celebrates anybody being shot and killed? It's a sick damn world, man.
Stood up and claimed that he was the shooter afterward. What is this? Okay, this is the full. Yes, it has the same shoes and everything. Producers, as the identity now is out, let's go ahead, of course, and scrape the internet for everything we can possibly know about somebody who, on first look, I mean, certainly doesn't appear to be some type of deranged ideologue, right? So it's like you can see these people that have blue hair, nose rings, face tattoos, wearing rainbow garbage bags, freaking out, like overly medicated. You know, there are those style of activists that are, walking around with bullhorns everywhere. This looks banal. Let's read. The suspect in Charlie Kirk's assassination has been identified as Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old student in Utah. Law enforcement told Daily Mail that Robinson was taken into custody as the alleged assassin who killed Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. The alleged killer confessed to his father, a 27-year-old veteran of the county's sheriff department. So he's the son of a cop. His father then contacted authorities before it could be taken into custody. His mother, Amber Robinson, works for the Intermountain Support Coordination Services, a company contacted by the state of Utah to help disabled people receive care. So state services. Okay. They're doing mic checks right now for the FBI live press conference, which we will go to as soon as they go live. Right now, it's just simply mic checks for the press. Amber Robinson, I'm not trying to create wild speculation, but Matthew Thomas Crooks's parents also worked inside of state care for counseling, state care counseling. Matthew Thomas Crooks, the would-be assassin in Butler, Pennsylvania, who also fired
that's what it
from a
reminds
rooftop
me of.
at President Trump, striking him in the head, killing a member of the MAGA movement. There are some similarities. There are some not. Robinson was a student at the university where Charlie Kirk was shot and killed and murdered. Robinson was taken into custody around 11 p.m. local time. He lives in a $600,000 6-bedroom home in Washington, Utah.
Wow, $600,000 home. A lot of people have been Kentucky. There was a guy at the actual event. As soon as it happened, he started celebrating it very loudly, dancing around, laugh, so proud about it, so happy about it. A lot of people have been. Oh, it's really gross. Yeah, and they should understand that. Why can't they understand? They're the people of tolerance, right? I thought they were the party of tolerance. You got to tolerate all this stuff. Who the hell celebrates anybody dying? It's disgusting behavior. People should. Can you even imagine? It's out on the internet, you acting like a completely evil. Maybe you'll grow up someday and really wish like hell you had not. I don't know. Maybe they won't. Cannot imagine it. I'm going to heat up my coffee.
About 260 miles south of Kirk's assassination in Orem, Utah. Officials have yet to confirm the motive of the assassination. Authorities said at a press conference that Robinson will face the death penalty. Look at this. It just looks like I don't know how else to explain it. Like the gamer setup here. It just looks
right. I've
normie.
Never been happy about bad things
Right
happening,
word for it.
period.
Normie.
Right. Never.
You go to these college campuses and I go to plenty. You go to these turning point events and I go to plenty. You go to far left protests and I go to plenty. And there are people who identify themselves like some of the most poisonous animals in nature, right? Bright colors, shrieking. You know, they do what you do when you're a dangerous animal, natural, in nature. When you're going in the Amazon, stay away from the very colorful neon frogs, right? They're the most poisonous ones. Same thing with activists. Dyeing their hair, shrieking, screaming. A lot of times they like virtually never look like this. So what's going on here? I don't know. Trump announced the arrest on Fox News. Robinson's arrest comes after a manhunt stretched out a day and a half. The officials previously offering a reward of $100,000. Surveillance footage has been released showing the figure on top of the roof. We played that for you. Sprinting away into a nearby neighborhood. The alleged killer was found after multiple suspects were incorrectly apprehended. Initial person of interest was in custody. However, they were later released. Multiple people of interest were in custody and later released. The suspect in custody has been released. They did this twice. The conservative commentator was hit by a single bullet while speaking at a crowd. Single bullet. I believe that this is the father right here. Yes, that's right. The alleged killers confessed to his father, a 27-year veteran of the sheriff's department. You can see his father here wearing some type of patriotic tactical gear. I don't know exactly what kind of shirt that is. It's a big firearm community in Utah. Obviously, Utah is a very Second Amendment friendly state. A lot of places to shoot, a lot of places to operate, a lot of places to train, Kirk was answering questions about mass shootings seconds before he was struck and rushed to the hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries. Kirk leaves behind his wife Erica. He has a 3-year-old daughter and a son, 16 months. The couple celebrated their 4th wedding anniversary in May. President Donald Trump led the tributes to the great and legendary Charlie Kirk. Again, you'll remember this. They apprehended
Jerry.
this older man, potentially, as the killer. It turned out that he was not. It was very strange. The initial on-the-ground reports was that this man screamed, "I'm the shooter, I'm the shooter," thus taking law enforcement, the resources from law enforcement, and applying them to him.
That's what I'm saying.
You can see here a considerable, you can see here law enforcement quickly. I have no idea if this is local, state, campus. But again, I've been to these events with Charlie. I've not said this on the live. We're supposed to be with him in Montana this week. Next week. The next stop was in Montana. And I was to appear with Charlie at that stop. This, of course, will not deter us. We will continue the work of Charlie. There's so much happening right now. I assume that we will be in Phoenix, Arizona sometime soon to regroup with the Turning Point USA leadership and so on, with whom I'm very proud to have helped partner and build so much of these events in the last few years. But I suppose I just don't want to get ahead of myself announcing anything or making any announcements here, because I frankly don't know. All staff, this has been reported, but all staff operations, of course, at Turning Point have been put on hold right now, of course. And again, that's been reported for obvious reasons as we process what's going on. Like, what is this? What the hell is this? Do we have more? ALX, you're so good at this. Where do we have more? Have we scraped anything else? Okay, there we go. Goodness gracious. Here we go. Him talking about a scholarship. We have a video of him. This is a video of Tyler Robinson talking about his scholarship. It's wild because we have a similar video of Matthew Thomas Crooks. Please grab that. We have a very similar video of Matthew Thomas Crooks.
See, I thought that. I
Trump's
wondered.
would-be assassin that successfully hit Trump in the head with a bullet, standing and delivering a speech that looks almost exactly like this. I'm just processing this live. I'm watching this for the first time with you. Here we go.
Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
Everything's speculation, but you can see the same thing that I'm seeing. He just seems like a normie. He seems like a normie. I have been, hey, producers, everyone lock in, please. I need every producer on right now, like getting me that Matthew Thomas Crooks video. It's the same video. I'm not trying to create some type of wild speculation here. I'm just saying that we have so little on Matthew Thomas Crooks. We have Matthew Thomas Crooks like reading a paper, just like that, like talking to his family and then engaging in scholarship talk. There it is. With so little, it's still to this day, we have vanishingly nothing on Matthew Thomas Crooks, this President Trump's shooter.
Yeah, that I can't.
But there are, I don't know, strange similarities where it's just normie behavior. Here we go. Listen.
Hello, my name is Thomas Crooks, and it has always been my passion to create and build things of my own. Today, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and my academic goals, my passion for building things, my love of cooking with my family, and lastly, what I hope to achieve in this course.
I mean, it's just what I'm saying is it's just normie behavior. That's all. nothing about this shrieks or screams like I am about to snap and I'm about to go, on a killing spree of some of the single most powerful voices on planet Earth. President Trump, Charlie Kirk. This is the article. Thank you, Klein. This is from the New York Times of all places. The quiet unraveling of the man who almost killed Trump. And what this very long article, it's about 3,000 words, what this long article signals to is that Matthew Thomas Crooks he was very lonely. He began to spiral. He began to engage in searches. Stunningly, because this wasn't his nature, but began to engage in searches for explosives and for explosive materials and for bomb building and for firearms. And that happened very quickly. Can you please put the article back up? That happened very quickly. This is, again, reporting here that is based on here. And they were able to find that material in his room. When they raided it, he was still living with his parents. But there are some stark differences. Again, we're just talking through this because I'm watching this for the first time with you as well. So is there also no social media for this guy? So no social media for Matthew Thomas Crooks. Is only like 20-year-old with no social media in the world. And now there's no social media for Tyler Robinson, or did they scrub it already? We don't know.
See, that shit irritates me. They do.
Pop up my window, thank you. You can see here.
They get rid of that
the
shit.
Exact same pair of shoes that he's wearing. You can see the same hat as well. Same shoes, same hat, same sunglasses. I think it's hard to tell, but same sunglasses. Of course, this is him. This is him, Tyler Robinson, the name of the Charlie Kirk killer. Some other small, perhaps photos from social media. Dude at an IHOP.
Hey, Top Hat.
I don't know. It's just normie life. Just eating some pancakes, some eggs and some pancakes.
Yep, they got
an
him.
IHOP or a Perkins, some type of breakfast place. We're giving you everything that we got. It's the same thing as Matthew Thomas Crooks. We know nothing about him. He has no social media. My producers are trying to comb through his social media. Looks like here he went to Alaska. Day 6 in Alaska. We got to fly on a float. We got to fly in a float plane. First of all, so cool. We were able to catch our limit of what looked like salmon there, obviously. What is this? This is from his mother's Facebook account. Okay, so the mom has a Facebook account, but the son has no social media. Again, you're just learning about this with me. Okay, I'm not trying to create any wild speculation.
It does.
This is not the time for that. What is this, though?
A lot of similarities
with strange peculiarities. Now, here are the things that are not peculiar, that are not similar.
Matthew Crooks.
Things that are not similar between the two of them. If you would, Klein, please, the rooftop video. We went to Butler, Pennsylvania. Yeah, ALX says that they're still searching for his social media, that our production team is searching for his social media. It is not confirmed that he has no social media, but it is not readily available to our production staff, and we have very sharp and very, very good producers. Here's the difference here, however. The difference is when we were in Butler, Pennsylvania, we retraced the steps of Matthew Thomas Crooks, and we created a documentary about that called The Presidential Kill Box. And what you were able to find about Matthew Thomas Crooks is that Matthew Thomas Crooks was, of course, never getting out of there alive. It was a miracle that he even was able to not be apprehended that day. Matthew Thomas Crooks, unlike
was intentionally
Tyler Robinson,
not,
who has been on a near 2-day manhunt and had to be turned in by his own family. The feds did not find him. He had to be turned in by his family.
I don't know.
Matthew Thomas Crooks, throughout the day, before the MAGA rally in Butler, was lumbering, goofily and sloppily running into law enforcement, making himself a mark, trying to get into the event with a rangefinder, getting turned away by Secret Service trailing him, then local police trailing him, following him with a black backpack. Matthew Thomas Crooks climbing clumsily up on a I'm sorry, I've been saying Matthew Thomas Crooks. It's Thomas Matthew Crooks. Climbing clumsily up on an air conditioning unit to get onto the AGR glass factory building. That is the building that he used. No sophistication at all. Everyone was able to film from the ground. Look, there is someone on the roof. We've all seen the photos. We've all seen the videos. What the hell is that guy doing on the roof? Does he got a gun? That dude's got a gun. Everyone saw him. Everyone was yelling. Everyone was freaking out. There are videos from President Trump. There it is. Thank you, Alex. There are videos from President Trump. You can put it up here. Look at how sloppy this was with Thomas Matthew Crooks. You can see Trump giving his speech, and you can see Thomas Matthew Crooks lumbering like a jackass, clomping and lomping across the rooftop with his long gun, with his firearm, an AR-15. That's how obvious this was. You can see it here clear as day. This is how obvious it was. It will remain, of course, the single greatest scandal in the history of federal law enforcement that Thomas Matthew Crooks was allowed to get his shots off at all. But what I'm saying here is that Thomas Matthew Crooks, the difference is that Thomas Matthew Crooks went out of his way to tell everyone, hey, I'm an assassin. I'm about to take shots at the president or the crowd. He did both, killing Corey Compertor. Tyler Robinson, nobody saw him. Up until moments ago, nobody knew what his name was. The feds didn't know where he was. They had to, thankfully, depend on his father and minister to turn him in, according to reports from President Trump. He was able to stealthily get in and out of this execution of Charlie Kirk. Here it is. Look at this. Plenty of opportunities because everyone was standing there just filming the lumbering jackass, Thomas Matthew Crooks. Everyone was like, look, he's got a gun. Now, why the feds and Secret Service didn't do anything? Let's have that conversation. Not today, but we've had that conversation on this channel before. Why no one caught him? Why they allowed him? Look at him. Look at him. There's no video of this, there's no video like this at all of the killing of Charlie Kirk, the political assassination of Charlie Kirk. And now there's seemingly no motive. Here is what looks like a screenshot. Is this a screenshot of the mother's Facebook? A scroll of the mother's Facebook. It sort of just kind of looks like any mother's Facebook account. Just like, it looks like he's got some brothers. Just like a normie family, normie Utah family. This is his graduation photo there in the Red Rocks of Utah. Just normie stuff.
Yeah,
same thing.
So weird.
With Thomas Matthew Crooks. I guess, were there warning signs? I suppose. I put up the New York Times article. That's the best that we have of his internet search history. That shows that he was engaging in, he began to spiral and engage in some dangerous stuff. Obviously anti-Trump stuff. Do you remember the op? The op was that he was a right-winger. That was the op. And what is this photo? Is this some sporting event?
Yeah, everything I'm seeing is...
Producer Jerry is sending these. So we have more on
Trying
him,
to say
I suppose. We had nothing on Thomas Matthew Crooks. Nothing. But we have more on the Charlie Kirk killer just based on some seemingly generic young man in America life. Here he is. Is that his mother? Perhaps here another photo of him. That's him driving. Here's him giving his mother a hug, perhaps. Is that correct? Okay. Now, here's what's important about this photo is that it's the same as my screen, please. You can see he's wearing the exact same outfit. He's wearing the same shirt, sunglasses, and everything right there as that photo. Same hat, sunglasses as the photo right before the Charlie Kirk killing. What the hell is going on here? I don't know. We await the FBI press conference. We are here to give you as much information as we possibly can. All of this is breaking. All of this is happening live right now. soon, and let's pop up the screen, you will be able to see the FBI's live press conference. This is all that we've seen. A career care worker, veteran law enforcement and career care worker. What is happening here? Law enforcement sources identified Robinson's 22-year-old Utah resident as the main suspect in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Robinson was taken into custody on Thursday night in southern Utah. So last night, not this morning, but last night, after having confessed to his father. His father is a 27-year-old veteran of the department. The father has been then contacted the authorities and secured his son before he could be taken into custody. So the father locked his son down. His mother, Amber Robinson, works for Intermountain Support Coordination Services, a company contracted by the state for disabled people. Robinson is a student at Utah Valley University. The family's social media show Robinson has two younger brothers enjoying vacations and smiling faces and selfies, celebrating the alleged killer getting into college. We played you that clip. Extremely normie behavior. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it.
I don't know, Jerry.
The motive. Authorities say that the death penalty will be sought if convicted.
I wonder.
Announced the arrest. So this is all that they have. So this is it. Goodness gracious. And this is it. Much of this is information that we have already covered. Anything further? All right. So here he is at school. Ladies and gentlemen, many of these photos coming from Facebook. Here he is at a engineering building. So perhaps an engineering student. The same Converses there on his feet. The same sunglasses. The same hat.
Okay, Flash.
It's him. Here we go. So this looks like so he's dressed up as Trump? So he's dressed up as like President Trump, carrying him on his back. You can see there an obvious President Trump Halloween costume, where it's like he's riding on Trump's shoulders, and Trump is hoisting him, like I do with my children. And then his brother as a hunter with a long gun in what has to be some type of Halloween party at their house.
At their house, like he knows.
The father, a veteran of the police force, the family, long trips, nature trips, hunting trips. Clearly a family that knows their way around firearms because, well, one, it's Utah culture. Two, the father's a cop. Three, there's lots of hunting trips on their social media. Goodness. So there you have. I mean, there's a bunch more. Goodness gracious. Yeah, there's a ton more here. Just a bunch of photos of them at Red Rocks. First days of school. We're going to load all these.
We
Red
did learn that he
Lobster
goes to that school. He was a student there.
I don't understand. I don't get it. Him out hunting and out in the wilderness. Them out in the wilderness as a family. Him catching catfish. We're loading all these as they come in. You go to my screen. There you go. This is Tyler Robinson. This is the shooter. Here he is with braces. These are, I think, older photos, obviously. But like the family going ziplining and catching fish together and going on vacations together. What is this? Tyler Robinson dressing up as President Trump? For Halloween?
Well, he's not dressed up as
Thank you,
Trump.
producers, for grabbing this. Here you can see. This is President Trump. Can you try and find this costume? This is President Trump, and there is the Charlie Kirk.
That's kind of weird.
What the hell's going on? I'm at a total and complete loss here. There we go. There you go. So the Charlie Kirk killer was wearing this costume not too long ago with a President Trump on his, with a President Trump costume, little inflatable Trump that like carries him. It's unexplainable. I'm bewildered.
That's weird.
I'm concerned. And I'm not going to engage in wild speculation, but yeah, I'm very concerned. Just normie behavior. Here's my kids at an arcade. Here's some Minecraft stuff. They're at an arcade. This is the Charlie Kirk killer right here. Here we are at Red Rocks Amphitheater. At least that's what I believe this is. It's quite famous. We're going to go see a show, perhaps, or a concert here at Red Rocks. I have a churro. This is the Charlie Kirk killer at what is Red Lobster, right? It's totally Red Lobster. Eating some snow crab. Wearing the same t-shirt. Here he is out in the woods. Plenty of that in Utah with a German Shepherd. The same Converses. Same Converses. Pickup truck.
I don't know.
What the
Those
hell's
are
going
the
on?
same shoes.
I don't understand.
Okay.
I'm very thankful that there is a
Kind of
FBI
beating a dead horse now.
press conference soon. So perhaps
We'll listen to a minute of this, and then I'm going to hop off.
Eric, thank you so much for being on the program. I know that we've learned so much in the last few hours about this. I want to get to that, but something that nobody is doing and that isn't done enough is eulogizing Charlie as somebody who traveled the country with him, as somebody who knows him like a brother. I want to just give you the floor and give you an opportunity to speak to everyone about who Charlie was and what message his life brought to the world.
So rewind 10 years, Benny. He comes into Trump Tower. I'll never forget this. We're sitting in a conference room on the 25th floor of Trump Tower, and he's just, I don't know, a 21-year-old kid. And he comes up to me and he goes, "This is what I want to do on college campuses. This is how I want to be involved in the campaign." And I go, these are really incredible, aspirations and lofty goals, but you really think you can create a chapter on every college campus and fully change the narrative? And he goes, "Yeah, I can. I absolutely can." And he just got going. He had a couple of chapters, but the chapters are small, and there was energy. He had a lot of energy behind it. But he literally spelled out exactly what Turning Point USA is right now. He spelled out the exact movement that he created, which you best saw 5 seconds before he was assassinated by this jerk, right? When you saw those kids out there and they're waving their hats and they're pumping their fists in the air and they're so excited to see him and the energy is contagious and they're all wearing 47 hats and they're throwing hats to the crowd and they're having a great time. I mean, this was a rally on a college campus, and that is what he told me he wanted to create 10 years ago. And listen, you hear a lot of nonsense, especially in the business world, from people. "Oh, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to build." And 99% of the time is bravado and BS. The people can't execute. They can't build. They lose their will. They lose their passion. Charlie not only built, but exceeded that goal. And I love him. Listen, when I saw Kash Patel speak, and Kash is a dear friend of mine. A dear friend of mine. When I saw Kash, and by the way, so is Dan Bongino. When I saw him speak a couple minutes ago, it was like, if you want to ever talk about full circle in life, almost brought tears to my eyes. The amount of stages that you, me, Kash, and Charlie have been on, and by the way, Dan Bongino, right? Over the course of our life. So
hey, Ryan,
a dear friend of ours who was one of the biggest.
I haven't heard
my
that.
Father win the White House and just standing by our side relentlessly. If we were in a courthouse, if we were getting attacked by an AG, Charlie was there and he was fighting and he was vocal. And so he lost his life in support of a movement that my father started, but obviously his beliefs and what he cared about, right? God, our Constitution, America, red, white, and blue. So I'm seeing a friend here that I've been on stage with 1,000 times. I'm seeing another dear friend that's been on the same stage as Charlie and I and you, up there as FBI director, who's trying to hold it together as he's piecing together the timeline of how he found his buddy's killer.
Yeah, there's lots of pictures. If you just back up, if you go back just a few minutes on here, we just showed a ton of them. Yeah, there are a lot of pictures.
You know, and now Cash runs the FBI, and then you see Bongino, who again was a friend of Charlie's and a friend of mine and a friend of yours. And you want to just talk about this weird small world. Like, you never thought that this is how, at least I never thought, and it didn't hit me until 2 seconds ago, that this is how the United States worked. Normally you had some freaking bureaucrat who wore some suit, who carried some freaking revolver, who was a political, you know, who didn't give a crap about the other, you know, the person at the end of that rifle barrel. And yet you see all these worlds of heart and soul collide, where it's just, we're all fighting for the same thing. We're fighting for country. We're fighting for what Charlie believed in. We're fighting for friendship. It's so damn real. It's so damn raw. It's so uniquely personal to all of us, based on how well you and I and all of us know these characters and the fight that we've been in this entire time. And man, it's crazy. I mean, you couldn't write this in a book. You really couldn't.
I know you have some breaking news, and so I want to get to that. You do have a new book out, and my producers are telling me that you want to announce something about your new book, and you've been on a book tour, and you want to take this moment to break news about something that you've decided about your book that details, I'm sure Charlie's in it, that details your relationship with your father in the last few years in your front seat to this American moment. Please, Eric, the floor is yours.
So, Benny, I started working on this 3 years ago. I started working on it before Butler. It was after they tried to impeach my father twice. The Russia hoax that I was at the center of, because I was the one that was getting the call from the old FBI saying, hey, I hear you have secret servers in the basement of Trump Tower, right?
I don't know what
Then
you're
they
saying,
tried
Ryan.
to gag my father. They got rid of his freedom of speech. They took him off of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. They took him off the ballot of Maine and Colorado. They went after our Supreme Court justices. They raided, you know, our home. They raided Mar-a-Lago. I became the most subpoenaed person in American history. I got 112 subpoenas in a short period of time. They tried to lock my father up. They tried to imprison all of us. They tried to bankrupt our family. And I started working on this book called Under Siege, right? And I named the book Before Butler, Pennsylvania, right? It's what they wanted to do. They wanted to kill us in any way possible. They wanted to kill my father. They wanted to eliminate our family. They wanted to strip his voice. They wanted to bankrupt us, right? And they would do anything to get to that goal. They wanted to make sure the Make America Great Again movement was dead, and it was quashed, and its leader was gone, and the children of the leader were imprisoned and hated each other and had no voice and had no money, and we were extinguished forever. And that's how I came up with Under Siege. And then something happened, and it's called Butler, Pennsylvania, where they tried to extinguish my father's life on that stage, and by the grace of God, they didn't succeed. And then 2 months later, they tried to kill him again at a golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida, a course I run every single day. And every single day, the title Under Siege became more fitting as to what the radical left lunatics were trying to do to our family, what the movement that we created, and it's a movement of good. It's exactly what Charlie epitomized. And I launched it on literally Wednesday of this week. I announced this book. And you better believe New York Times and everybody's going to do everything they can to quash what I'm trying to do, because it is so raw and so damn powerful. And I do not hold back, and I give every inside story about the corruption. And then 2 days later, literally 2 days later after I announced this book, you know, we're all watching, and we see exactly what happened to Charlie. That is us being under siege, Benny. That is our party. That is our movement. That is God being under siege. That's our Constitution being under siege. That's our American flag being under siege. That's the family unit in this country being under siege. That's our democracy being under siege. Everything that we love, everything that we fought for, it's every one of those college kids that's indoctrinated. It's all of them being under siege. It's the revisionist history that they teach in our schools. It's that being under siege. And honestly, if the book came out a day later, I would have included the chapter on Charlie, because there is no better example of all of us being under siege, exactly what I write about so granularly in this book, than what just happened to our dear friend. And so, you know, St. Jude has always been kind of the biggest charity and calling in my life. I fought for kids with pediatric cancer my entire life. They tried to kill me because of it. I want to take a nice part of the proceeds of this book, and I want to invest that in Turning Point, because here's what you and I and all the other people can never allow happen. We cannot allow his mission, to ever die. It won't. We will never allow them to take us off the stage, because that's exactly what they want. They want us to be Joe Biden. They want us to hide in the basement, right? I've been on that stage. You've been on that stage. You're on that stage every day. I'm on that stage every day. Charlie was on that stage every day. My father's out there every day. So is Don, and so many incredible people in this movement. They don't want us to stand on that stage, and that's why they're shooting rifle rounds at us from rooftops. The same time as if we don't stand on that stage, we don't have a damn chance. If we didn't stand on that stage, Benny, Hillary would have steamrolled us. You know why? Because she had $1.5 billion in funds and we had freaking nothing. We were self-funding a campaign.
Right. Obviously, but again, I don't, it's not my money. I'm not going to get in the middle of it. I never do. But actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to end this, because I think we've seen what's out there at this point, and not really interested in all of this stuff. But I'm going to end this because I have been I got right on here as soon as I woke up, so I need to finish waking up and all that. So I will see you guys later. Everybody have a great day. Hopefully we get justice, and I love you all. Thank you.